Hey everybody, just doing a little bit of a historical update today. I thought I actually have this up a little bit sooner towards the end of last week. I just got busy with life stuff, and so I'm just putting something up today. Today I'm just going to show some artillery that I'm working on for the French. I've assembled and primed some French Minden miniatures, as well as put together and painted a French 4-pounder. I also am going to show the canoes and the boats today, and I'm going to finally wrap up with just a picture of my river terrain all together that I've finished with a look of the boats on them on the table. So I'll start off with the artillery here. What I have painted, and the only thing I have to really do is varnish it, is a French 4-pounder. I guess this is called the Valerian style cannon, I believe. Minden also has what they call a Swedish 4-pounder as well, which looks noticeably smaller, and I don't have it, but I do plan on getting one to use perhaps as a smaller gun for the French, or even just to be able to see it and how it looks different. This one looks a little bit bigger than my British 6-pounder, according to the British weight and measures of 6-pound. Let's see here. And so, in comparison, quite a bit smaller. Same manufacturer and everything, but yeah, just. This might even be, I don't know, like this might be closer to an 8 to 10-pounder in the version of like a British weight and measure. I think I'm probably going to plan on trying to use this as my mid-size cannon. I don't know that I'll be buying any. I'm not really sure how big I'm going to go. Both games have the ability, like Musket and Tomahawks, you have sort of like your smaller and your larger cannon, whereas in Sharps Practice there are 3 different sizes. I'd probably use this as a mid to a large just for the purposes of gaming. And this one, I'm kind of torn. I'm thinking about maybe just getting some like galloper guns, I believe, for a small size cannon. And so I'm not sure. At this point I just use whatever I have, like, you know, for the game. But yeah, so that's my French. Happy with the look of that. I'm excited to use artillery in Sharps Practice. I think the rules are really good for it. So I have some. They look, you know, they're in French uniform, but they look somewhat similar in pose to my British that I have for artillery. I'm going to get another pack of both French and British artillery to add, so I'll have 8 to do what I need to with them in game. Yeah, so I'll be painting these up shortly. I'll show off my boats, canoes and boats, bateaux. So I have, I'll do the boats first. So I went for a fairly simple look. I did do the sepia wash that I talked about on the interior of the boat, but then on the outside I just did a simple white, and that's really it. I didn't go too crazy. I did keep like sort of the rims wood looking to have like a two-tone kind of look, with like the wood interior and the wood on the top with the white on the sides. And I think that'll do just fine for a simple bateau. That's the medium. Large is fairly similar, just a bit bigger. So I think those will look just fine for the game. I'll talk about the size a bit, and I'm going to show them on the board in a moment. But for the canoe, here's my small. So I just did a pure sepia on all of it. I didn't actually do the bottoms, actually just left them. And I did varnish it as well. I think I did the bottoms for the paint, but I don't think I did for the sepia the bottoms for the canoe. I just left them as is. So it's actually really easy, right? To put this together and to do it. I mean, it didn't really take a lot of work, and I did a really simple job on it. I think they look just fine. And then I have the large canoe. Now, looking at this on the rivers, and I'll show like it on the actual river, but I'll just pull a river piece that I have over here that I can show the size well. I think this one will do, the regular river piece. So the large ones are quite a bit oversized for the rivers that I have. Really, the only one that I think fits somewhat decent is the small canoe, which isn't really that small. I mean, it holds a full-size unit. But if I put the small canoe on here on the gaming board, I think it works okay. These rivers, although I think they actually work quite well for the size of the miniatures, as a river sort of large stream, with these boats, they clearly are sort of undersized and look more like streams. Problem is, I don't really think that these rivers are undersized for gaming. I just think that for the boats they potentially are, because most of the stuff commercially available does not come like twice the size of this, so you'd almost have to make it your own. So I think I can, for the purposes of just gaming, I'm okay to have my medium-sized boat on here. I think it works okay. Like, you can still see sort of like the river in certain spots on each side of it. It definitely looks big, but for the large, I'm not really that comfortable. Like, it's just too big. I would never make it. And the canoe as well, like, I don't think... It's just kind of looks big. And so what I'm thinking about doing is just using the large ones for when I incorporate sort of like some lake areas of the table, which is what I'm thinking of doing, is having like these more as like a lake canoe, and then this larger bateau is sort of like a lake boat. It could be like a deployment point or used to go up and down kind of a lake area. And Steve is actually getting like he has a large Napoleonic's, I believe it's a Napoleonic, I'm not sure, but it's a ship, and he's going to be using it as sort of like a movable deployment point within the Sharps practice rules, and has had some discussions on Facebook for incorporating rules like that, and it seems to be looked highly upon as a method for utilizing large boats in the game. And so I may end up using this in a similar fashion. I do think I would buy more even with my rivers of this size. I think that they be useful, and I actually kind of still like this one on here. I just think that it does look, the smaller one, medium bateau still looks kind of big, but I'll show them on my entire board where I have all the rivers set up at the end of the video coming up. So yeah, what I've got coming up now is just those miniatures that I was talking about. I've been spending all my time finishing up these rivers. I've had so many pieces to work on, and I've finished them finally, that I'm actually working on the artillery and those straggler miniatures for historical that I talked about. So yeah, so I'll just kind of show my river terrain set up on now. I'm going to cut to my table upstairs, and after that I will just talk to you next week, or this week I should say. It's Sunday. It's later in the week, or midweek. Talk to you later. Bye.